On the dark night of December 16, 2012, in the capital city of Delhi, an incident took place that still sends chills down people's spines and fills their eyes with tears. A heinous crime was committed in a moving bus where 6 monsters crossed all limits of brutality against a 23-year-old innocent girl. We are talking about Nirbhaya. You might have read and heard a lot about the Nirbhaya case, but today we will share some details you may not have come across before. Additionally, we will tell you about the sole surviving perpetrator of the crime, where he is and what his current condition is. We will also explain the full story behind giving the juvenile culprit rupee 10 600 and a sewing machine. So stay with us till the end of this video. Our goal is not merely to gain views and likes, but to provide you with accurate and unbiased information. So without further delay, let's begin. Nirbhaya was born on May 10, 1990 in Delhi. She was the eldest among her 3 siblings and the only daughter of her family. Her parents did not differentiate between sons and daughters, giving her the same opportunities and a good education. Nirbhaya excelled academically from a young age and lived up to her family's expectations. While pursuing higher studies, she decided to enter the medical field and enrolled in a physiotherapy course. She successfully earned her degree with excellent marks. At the time of the incident, Nirbhaya was interning as a physiotherapy student. The incident occurred on December 16, 2012. It was a day off, and Nirbhaya made plans with her friend Avnindra Pradap Pandey to watch a movie. Avnindra, a software engineer from Gorakhpur, Uttar Pradesh, accompanied her. They initially planned to watch the much-discussed Omir Khan movie ****. However, due to the rush at the cinema, they couldn't get tickets. Instead, they decided to watch Life of Pi. After watching the evening show of Life of Pi, they waited for an auto rickshaw to return home. Although it wasn't too late at night, the cold weather made it difficult to find transportation. Eventually, they managed to find an auto rickshaw willing to take them only as far as Munirka bus stand. From Munirka, they planned to take a bus to Dwarka. Upon reaching the bus stand, they waited but couldn't find a suitable ride to their destination. Around 9:30 p.m., a white bus with tinted windows stopped nearby. A man at the bus door shouted, asking where they wanted to go. When Nirbhaya's friend said Dwarka, the man replied that they were heading in the same direction. Trusting this, Nirbhaya and her friend boarded the bus. Inside, they noticed 3 other passengers, which gave them a sense of safety. A man inside the bus collected rupee 10 each as fare from Munirka to Dwarka. However, when they asked for tickets, he began misbehaving. Since this wasn't an unusual experience, they chose to stay silent and wait to reach their destination. Little did they know, their wait would turn into an unending nightmare. For a while, the bus continues on its designated route. However, after some time, the driver deliberately diverts the bus onto another path. Sensing something unusual, Nirbhaya's friend immediately questions the people inside the bus about this change. Instead of giving a proper response, the other staff on the bus begin misbehaving with Nirbhaya's friend, asking rudely, "Who are you two? What are you doing alone at this time of the night?" When Nirbhaya and her friend had boarded the bus, they noticed that besides the 3 bus stops, 3 other passengers were seated on the passenger seats. Initially, they assumed these individuals were also passengers. However, it soon became clear that these 3 were actually accomplices of the bus staff. Now, all 6 men began harassing and provoking Nirbhaya's friend. When he tried to respond, everyone inside the bus turned violent, attacking him. They started beating him with kicks and punches. During the scuffle, one of the men grabbed a large iron rod from within the bus and struck it against Nirbhaya's friend's head. This blow caused Nirbhaya's friend to lose consciousness instantly, collapsing to the floor. After incapacitating her friend, the horrifying sequence of events for Nirbhaya began. The men dragged her to the back seat of the bus. What followed was indescribable. The bus kept moving as the 6 men committed heinous acts against Nirbhaya for over 2.5 hours. During this time, police vehicles passed by the bus multiple times. The bus even drove past several police stations, but no one stopped the bus. The men took turns assaulting her, showing no mercy. Since Nirbhaya's friend was unconscious due to the iron rod attack, he couldn't help her. Nirbhaya, despite being alone, fought with all her strength against the 6 men. reports later revealed that she managed to injure 3 of them during her resistance. When the men finally tired of their brutality, they decided to throw Nirbhaya and her friend out of the moving bus. However, before doing so, they stripped them of their clothes and took their mobile phones and other belongings. Around 11 p.m., the men hurled the unconscious duo out of the bus. Nirbhaya's friend, regaining partial consciousness later, desperately pleaded for help from passers-by. Most ignored him, but eventually, a kind stranger, seeing their horrific condition, called the police. Shortly after, a police team arrived and rushed both victims to Safdarjung Hospital. The extent of the brutality Nirbhaya endured was evident. Her intestines were severely damaged, there was excessive bleeding, and her body was mutilated. The attackers had inserted an iron rod inside her. Doctors immediately began treatment, but her condition was critical. She was placed on ventilator support. News of the barbarity spread like wildfire through media, igniting outrage across the nation. People flooded the streets in protest, demanding swift justice and the arrest of the perpetrators. Despite multiple surgeries between December 16th and December 19th, Nirbhaya's condition continued to worsen. On December 21st, the government formed a committee of top doctors to provide her with the best possible treatment at state expense. Sadly, despite all efforts, her condition did not improve. The temperature rose to 102–103 degrees Fahrenheit. The infection had spread severely. On one side, people were raising their voices for justice for Nirbhaya, while on the other, doctors were tirelessly trying to save her. However, her condition kept worsening. Subsequently, under the leadership of then Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, a cabinet meeting was convened on December 26th. It was decided that Nirbhaya would be sent to the world's best organ transplant hospital. Preparations began to airlift her to Mount Elizabeth Hospital in Singapore. Finally, on December 27th, Nirbhaya was admitted to Mount Elizabeth Hospital, where her treatment started. Unfortunately, her condition deteriorated further, and on December 29th, at 4:45 am local time, Nirbhaya passed away. After her death, her body was brought back to Delhi, where her last rites were performed under tight security. Meanwhile, her friend, after a few days of treatment, was discharged from the hospital. While Nirbhaya was undergoing treatment, Delhi police were working on the ground to apprehend the culprits. Within 24 hours of the incident being reported, Delhi police arrested several suspects. Using CCTV footage, they identified the bus involved in the crime and first arrested the driver, Ram Singh. Based on his statements, 6 accused individuals were apprehended one by one. These individuals came from different backgrounds and had only recently become friends. On the night of the incident, they were in a party mood. They filled the bus with alcohol and food before driving out, looking for potential victims. Before targeting Nirbhaya, the group had already robbed a 35-year-old man named Ramadhir Singh. They let him off the bus after taking his money and phone. Ramadhir alerted nearby policemen, but his complaint was ignored. Had the police taken him seriously, the tragedy could have been averted. Following their arrest, the accused were subjected to an identification parade. Nirbhaya's friend identified all 6. Legal proceedings began, and on March 11, 2013, one of the prime accused, Ram Singh, committed suicide in Tihar jail. On September 1, 2013, the juvenile accused was sentenced to 3 years in a reform facility by the Juvenile Justice Board. The remaining accused were charged with rape and murder and sentenced to death by a fast-track court on September 13, 2013. The accused appealed to the Delhi High Court, which upheld the lower court's decision on March 13, 2014. Subsequently, they approached the Supreme Court, which also upheld the death penalty on May 5, 2017. Despite exhausting all legal options and filing mercy petitions, their pleas were rejected by the president. Finally, on March 20, 2020, at 5:30 am, all 4 convicts were hanged in Tihar jail. The medical team declared them dead at 6 am. It is declared as nectar by the fearless hands. The criminals had already received their death sentences, while one of them committed suicide. What happened to the remaining one? As we mentioned earlier, one of the accused in this case was a minor at the time of committing the crime. Due to this, he was sentenced to only 3 years and sent to a juvenile correction home. According to media reports, the miner's name was Mohammed Afroz. After completing his 3-year sentence, Afroz was secretly relocated to a new place. Reports state that Afroz was given rupee 10 zilzanzer and a sewing machine to start a new life as a tailor and earn his livelihood. Currently, his whereabouts are officially unknown, as protecting the accused is also the law's responsibility. What more can be said about this? There's also a claim that the Delhi government provided rupee 10 zilzanzer and the sewing machine to Afroz. However, it is essential to understand the truth behind this. As per the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Act 2014, when a minor offender completes their sentence, it is the state's responsibility to rehabilitate them. This law was created by the central government and remained unchanged even when the law was amended during the NDA government. Hence, Nirbhaya's attacker and the only living perpetrator received financial aid and a sewing machine as part of his rehabilitation. We are not engaging in politics here, but are providing accurate information. After this news emerged, public anger surged, particularly because this minor offender reportedly inflicted the most harm on Nirbhaya and was eventually released. Another fact worth noting is that the world knows this case as Nirbhaya's case, and for months, no one knew Nirbhaya's real name. This was because, under Indian law, disclosing the identity of a rape victim is illegal. As a result, the media referred to her as Nirbhaya and Damini. However, the law also allows the victim's parents or family to disclose her identity if they wish. Referring to this provision, Nirbhaya's parents declared to the media that their daughter did nothing to be ashamed of. Instead, she fought bravely against those monsters, and they are proud of her. Nirbhaya's father later revealed her real name to the media, Jyoti Singh. With the hope that Jyoti's soul finds peace, we conclude this story here. Friends, according to you, what steps should the government take to reduce rape cases in the country? Do share your thoughts in the comment box. Thank you.